Scarefest Radio is sponsored by Blue Leaf Naturals, CBD and hemp oil products. Created with care from seed to shelf. BlueLeafNaturals.com. Spirit Mechanics, for your spiritual health and well-being. Find them on Facebook. MECHANIX. And by Coyote Chris Sutton, bringing light to the darkest places. CoyoteChris.com.
Viewpoints and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another fun-filled episode of Scarefest Radio. The original broadcast date for tonight's show is March 29th, 2019, and I'm going to go ahead and apologize for the weird mohawk-like comb-over thing that my hair is doing tonight. I need a haircut really, really bad, but I have this big hump in the middle of my hair. I don't know what's going on. But we're back from Comic-Con, from the Lexington Comic and Toy Convention. Chad and I will talk about that for just a couple minutes when I bring him on. Of course, my co-host tonight is Mr. Chad Harlan. My guest tonight is Mr. Jack Kenna, who I don't know. Jack, I'm not sure if you've been going to Scarefest longer than me or not, but I can honestly say I think I remember you being there damn near every year that I have a memory of Scarefest.
I think you've been going longer than me, though.
Probably. Then I have a short memory. So, see, that would explain that, because I have a short memory. So I can only remember, like, the last couple of years. But Jack Kenna is going to be with us. Paranormal Survivor, Haunted Case Files. He's a TV dude. Where I'm just stuck here in YouTube and Facebook land. The announcements for tonight. Last day, actually technically tomorrow, last chance if you want to do a seminar or speak at the Scarefest. If you want to do a seminar, if you want to become a speaker, you need to get your applications in like today, tomorrow, because they've got enough. They just want to be able to pick from the cream of the crop, as we like to say. One little thing I want to throw in here. I hope I don't butcher his last name, because I love the guy. But Scott Wazalewski, he lost his father this week. He's a long time friend. He's one of the first viewers of the show. He's been with me since we've been doing this project, when it was audio, video. Great guy, big fan of Scarefest, comes religiously every year. And I just want to say that our thoughts and prayers are with you, Scott, through this time. Let's go ahead. Chad, buddy.
What's up?
Chad was asking me before the show if I was recovered from Comic-Con, and I haven't, because I haven't taken time to do it.
It takes a lot out of you to attend one of those things, but I tell you what, they're worth it.
They are, but I'm going to tell you, I'm bad enough at Scarefest on the Thursday night launch party, but we didn't even go to a party Friday night. I'm going to tell you, this Scarefest crew has got to, if I'm going to hang with them, they got to tone it down a notch. It made for a rough Saturday out there. I'll put it that way. What'd you think?
Maybe you can be the responsible adult.
Yeah, that's I'm well known for that. Yeah, that's what'd you think of the demilitarized zone that is now Lexington Convention Center?
I tell you what, it worked out a lot better than I was afraid it was going to. They took over a lot more spaces and kind of things were tucked in little spots here and there, but it all really flowed and worked. The crews did a really great job figuring out where to put people and how to get the crews moving around. There weren't a lot of traffic jams and stuff, so I thought they really worked around it pretty good. I don't know what you thought, but I was
I
down
agree
on
with
the Stars Row a lot.
I mean, he put lipstick on that pig and made it sing. That's the only way I can describe it. Jared did a great job. Of course, now he took up more space than we are. We're actually going to try to keep ours in more of a confined area. It's going to cost us some vendor space, but we just feel that because last time we put people upstairs, people at Scarefest did not even realize that the convention center had an upstairs. So we just didn't want to go through that. We're going to move up some of the like the photo shoots and seminars will be up there. But vendors, we're going to try to keep them all main floor and main floor adjacent. So that, because if I had to say the one thing that I dare say he got some bitching over, some of those little cubby holes that you're talking about, some of the vendors back in the little rooms that were kind of off the main path. If you watched the signage, then you knew to check them out. But a lot of times when you're at a place like that and you're milling around, you just kind of tune out all the signage because there's so damn much of it. And so that'll be something we have a problem with. Because one of the areas I noticed that he was using one of the conference rooms. And the entrance was, you had to almost know the entrance was there to notice there were vendors in there.
Yeah, there were several places like that. Some of the places we use as seminar rooms were being used as a specialty vendor areas.
Right.
And you kind of, I walked by those 3 or 4 times before I noticed them. So I think it's really going to be a communication issue. But like I said, it really alleviated the traffic jam that could have been with the limited amount of space that was there. So I think it worked out pretty well with the area they had. It proved that it can be done, which a proof of concept is kind of good at this point.
So everybody, basically the takeaway from this is if you happen to drive by and look at that place from the outside, it is freaking scary. I mean, they have ripped off half the building and it's this big crater in the middle of Lexington now, and but inside, once you get in the building, if you'd never been there, you'd have never known. Everything is closed off. I mean, it's neat and there's not like circular saws laying in the hallway and stuff like that. Once you can get in the building. The other problem though, now honestly, I think I didn't hear as many people complain about it as I thought I would, but Lexington that is famous for its parking. This is just, this is a multiplier. This is a multiplier, as we say. So,
yeah, that's going to be an issue. The other thing I thought that I thought I would hear more people talking about, but apparently it worked out, was concessions. All the concessions downstairs were kind of wiped out right now with the construction. Right. And they kind of relocated them, but there wasn't as good a communication about where that was, I think. And
yeah, if you went,
I think it's going to be moving around.
If you actually went to the top level, then it was easy to find because the signs were like enormous. Now, I will say, and this has no reflection on Lexington Comic-Con whatsoever, but Rupp Arena, that's whose concessions they were using. The Rupp Arena concession stand hamburgers are the nastiest piece of meat I have ever had. They're bar none. The other stuff was
Gold Star, so
I had no complaint. Good, the pretzels were great. The pizza was fantastic, but I made the mistake on Saturday on a semi-queasy stomach, I might add, to get one of their greasy-ass hamburgers, and oh my god, it was. Let's just say there's a semi-dirty joke that goes along with it. That's the other thing I got to bring up. I try to keep this show PG to PG-13. I think it's well known that I try not to curse too much. Okay, I'll say the word shit like it's a comma. But beyond that, I try not to drop the F-bomb. And when I do it for dramatic effect. I pause before it. I apologize usually after it. It's a very important thing to me. And 2 weeks ago, I think it was, had Bud Jennis on. And he informed me that his mother turned off the show in the first 10 minutes because I had a foul mouth. So I feel bad about that, and I apologize to any listeners that think that I curse too much. But it's gonna happen. It's the internet. If I couldn't cuss, I'd have a job like Jack Kenna. Jack, welcome to the show. Sorry it took so long to get around to you there.
That's all right, gentlemen. I've been enjoying the conversation. So now I kind of know what to look for when I get down there to Scarefest this year, right? They're still going to be doing a lot of construction, I assume, even then.
Oh,
and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So,
well, first of all, I think their best projection is done in 2021. Was it 21 or 22? I don't remember. But no freaking way, because it's construction, and I know how that stuff goes. Right. But like I said, it's the real question is when they actually tear into the rest of the convention center to remodel it. I just wonder what that's going to look like, and when it's going to happen. But enough about construction. Enough about me having a foul mouth. Now, Jack, you're on.
Well, I know to stay away from the hamburgers at least now too.
Oh yes.
Stick to the pizza.
Maybe I got a bad one. Maybe that was the only one in that entire building.
No, probably not.
That tasted like it was. I'll put it. I described it. No, actually, I described something else that way. But it tasted like burning tire smell. So, I'll give you an idea.
Oh, that's
bad. Let's get into your roots here a little bit. Of course, now you've been on a couple of TV shows. Paranormal Survivor, which was now I've watched a few episodes of. It's basically a recreation show.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about Haunted Case Files. I hate to admit it, allegedly being in the paranormal industry like I've been. I've never seen an episode of Haunted Case Files, and it's also because I canceled my cable.
Oh well, that's a good reason. Jump onto my website, and you can go to spiritsofnewengland.org. I actually have at least one of them posted up there through YouTube, my personal account, so you can access that through that. There's actually some on YouTube now. Season 1 is on there now, Haunted Case Files. That's the same thing. I mean, it's a reenactment type show. They interview just us investigators, about different cases we've worked on.
Oh, okay.
And we do that. We talk about the cases, what went on. We show actual footage from the actual cases. And, when we're filming that stuff, we're not filming it for TV. We're just collecting information on some of the equipment, or, we're trying to capture some kind of real evidence. So the evidence that you see on that show is from actual real investigations, not done for TV. Right? They're done to try to help people or to try to gather information. So that makes it a little bit unique. I mean, we're not going to have crews following us around to go investigate places. It's just.
I actually wouldn't mind that. What you just described, is palatable to me, because you are using. I mean, the stuff that you went out and you captured.
Right.
Right. But
yeah,
I just know.
Purposes. Yeah.
I just know that when I know that I have a team of actors at my disposal, that the walls bled right over there. Yeah, that's where that happened. So that's why I've never been a fan of the
reenactments they do. Well, they go a little too far.
That's what I'm talking about.
But that's okay. I mean, the reenactments aren't too bad. They actually do a pretty good job kind of sticking to what really happened. I mean, they get a little bit.
Okay, the TV show does. But then I have to rely not only on the producers, who they want it. I'll put it this way: whatever you give them, they want it. They're going to arrange it the best way they can to get the most titillation out of it.
Well,
Ooh, I said the
They
word
also,
tit.
also
Now
got
there goes
they
one.
also got 15 minutes to tell
Right.
something that you did over 2 days.
But,
So,
but
you know.
but with the recreation shows, then I have to rely on them, and I have to rely on the person telling the story. And I realize the vast majority of people are pure of heart and would never overemphasize or embellish their haunting. The vast majority, I'm quite sure.
I will tell you this: I refuse to.
Well, yeah, but that's how you.
I have actually gotten in a little bit of trouble for refusing to.
That's how you get to where you are now, though, Jack. Let's the
I
flyby you see to your pants. They don't
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, they always want you to say everything's demonic and everything's this and everything's, and it's not. And I'm like, no, I'm not even saying the word, because if I do, you'll edit it in.
People can smell BS.
Oh, I said, look, I know what you need. We work with them. Maybe I work with them, but I won't ever say anything I don't believe is true or that really didn't happen. I had to yell at them once for putting words in my mouth. They actually changed something I said, and I went to the producer and I said, don't ever do that again. I said, you catch you doing that again. It was something minor, but if you let them get away with that, they'll get away with something else. So I told him, and I said, you can't do that anymore. I said, I'm not going to put up with that. And he goes, okay, we won't. And they never have again. They never have again.
All right, everybody, we're going to take our first commercial break. When we come back, I'm going to turn it over to Chad. Have you checked out the Mama Ruby's family of metaphysical and spiritual shows? The Mystical Fair in Lexington, Kentucky, Lexington's only monthly psychic and holistic healing arts fair. The Inner Light Festivals in Louisville in June and Lexington in November. And watch for Mama Ruby's Expo coming in 2020. Plus, Mama Ruby's Meta Lecture Series featuring interesting guests speaking on fascinating subjects. Start your journey now at mamarubies.com for more information. And I will remind everybody that Mama Rubies is the presenting sponsor of Scarefest Radio's Paranormal BS, Paranormal Body and Spirit. And coming up March 30th and 31st, which is tomorrow and Sunday, the road trip in E-Town. So check out mysticalfairlex.com to get more information on that. And the Inner Light Festival, is coming up in June. That's in Louisville. Tickets are supposed to go on sale this weekend, I think. So if you want to check them out, innerlightfestival.com. Over to you, Chad.
Jack, you were talking about your footage being used in some of the TV shows. Do you find that you conduct your investigations now any differently, that your footage might be used for that purpose?
No, not really. I mean, they've actually asked me to do that. Probably the only thing I've done a little bit different is just try to get a little bit more footage of just us investigating. But not really. I mean, if it happens, it happens. That's not my goal. My goal is still going in there to help those people. So that's on the back burner. If I think about it, fine. If I don't really care. Again, it's not what I do the investigations for. And it's always up to the individuals who cases we do if they want to have that even talked about on TV. So it's always up to the people who we do the cases for in the end, whether they want us to even talk about their case. It doesn't even have to have their name or location or anything, but we still leave that decision up to them. But no, I don't try to really change what I'm doing, because I got to focus on trying to collect the information, trying to collect the data, and trying to help those people.
So even before you were focused a lot on the visual and the video and stuff, that was kind of your style already?
Yeah, I mean, we mostly focus, when I'm doing footage, I'm focusing on the equipment, just trying to see if the K2 does light up. I film that to see, are we getting regular responses on it? Because I want to be able to review that later on and also listen to the audio from that and any audio that we get and see if we caught any EVPs. So that's what I'm really focusing on. What's going on with that particular device or equipment, or even with us. If we hear something or whatever, we go and try to check it out, right? So I'm going to film that. I mean, us trying to sort through something. But that's just for, it's more like documentation. It's not really filming for TV. That's documentation stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because you're just trying to get your answers, you know? So that's how I still approach it to this day. And TV can deal with whatever they want. They got reenactors. They can do whatever they want. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, because I think even people, when we do get some of the cases on, people are more interested in what was the evidence we collected. They don't really want to see us that much. I mean, they see me when I'm doing the interview, but they're more interested in, what did happen? What why was that K2 lighting up, or what EVPs did you get? They're more interested in that. They don't care about seeing me.
So obviously you go through a lot of investigations every year that leads up to you having the material to be able to do that. But I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make it onto the shows. As an active investigator, how many cases would you say you work a year?
Every year varies, but it's been getting more, obviously, because we are on TV. I think this year we're going to do about 10 or 12 right now. And we're only into, where are we now? We're coming into April, right? So, that's so far. And then there's times I have to refer cases to other people because I don't got the time to do it, But being on TV does draw more cases to you. People reach out to you, which is really what I really like doing it for, because people can feel they can reach out to you to try to get help. And then you can try to help them either find somebody who's closer to them, especially people in farther western states, because I'm in New York, or you can at least try to give them some answers over the phone or give them some advice and try to help them find somebody who can help them if it's that kind of issue. So that's really what I like doing it for, is that reach out, let people know they got somebody they can talk to, even just call and talk to, because sometimes that's all people need. They just need somebody to listen to them.
Yeah.
So that put your face out there, and more people reach out, and you can try to help more people.
Yeah, and that's a lot of people.
That's my perspective, anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people just need somebody to talk it through with them, just so they're not scared anymore.
Exactly.
Has your team changed any, or pretty much still the same team you started with when you started doing this?
We have some recent changes on the team. We've actually added a couple new team members, a couple younger people. One of my investigators is here with me. I'm in Vermont right now because I'm going to be doing an event tomorrow, but I got my investigator, Carly Hall. Carly, come on, step in for a second. So anyways, she's here. And then we also got a new gentleman who I work with. His name is Joe Sibilia, and he's an engineer. This is Carly in the background. She's one of my investigators. So she's actually the newest member on the team.
Hello, Carly.
She's 2 years old. She actually just even told her own story on Paranormal Survivor of what happened to her when she was a teenager. So, yeah. So she's been a big help. She actually even drove me out here today. So I've got like a chauffeur, secretary, investigator. I don't have to review evidence much anymore. Thank God. With these two new people, and they're really great at it. They're great investigators. They really are.
Well, great, and that makes it even better when you can surround yourself with good people.
Yeah, they're excellent. They're excellent people, excellent investigators. Yep.
All right, let's turn it back over to Wes.
All righty. You don't have to stay if you don't.
I'm thinking that you brought Carly on the team because now that you're doing all these events, you needed a booth babe. So
I'm gonna tell her you said that.
Well, I hope she watches the show in the afterthought.
Yeah, she will.
That's why Wes keeps me around.
Yeah. Chad's my booth babe.
I didn't know I needed a babe, but that's okay.
It's all about marketing. I'm sorry, it's all about marketing. I do have a question from the chat room.
Not good enough, Wes? Jeez, come on.
None of us are. I know. They did want to know in the chat room. Apparently, they've watched the show about as much as I have. Okay, the new show, the Haunted Case Files, is mainly the teams. Now, do you ever actually bring in as part of the of the review of the case? Do the homeowners or people from the location or whatever, do they ever make it on the show as part of the show?
That would be Paranormal Survivor. That's where the shows differ slightly. That's where they bring in the show. Paranormal Survivor is really about the homeowners or the people who experienced it, and us investigators are there just to say our part of what we did. Right, but it really focuses on homeowners, and that show, that's what that's about. So that's the two differences. And then with that one, we say, do you want to tell your story on TV? You sometimes telling your story can help others understand what they're going through. So some people do and some people don't, and that's okay. That's okay. I also do another show that's just recently came out. Maybe somebody in the chat room has seen it. It's called Haunted Hospitals. Been doing that. I just filmed for a haunting this year too, which will be coming out, I believe, in June. And also going to be filming a new show that Our House Media is doing, related to, they're the ones that do Paranormal Survivor and Haunted Case Files. I think the current name, those things, they change. It's something like My Paranormal Nightmare or something like that. But it's actually focusing on individuals like myself who had things happen when they were younger, and that's what brought them into the paranormal. So I can't say too much more than that about it right now. That's probably even too much to have said. but yeah, that stuff is out there already, so I'm comfortable saying that much about it. So we're doing a lot of shows, a lot of different shows. But still, Haunted Case Files, I think we're going to be doing season 3 coming up this year. It's been doing pretty well in the ratings as far as these types of shows go and stuff. So we're moving forward. We're moving along. And I recently got contacted by the production company that's working with Jason Hawes for his new show. So we're talking about a few little things there. I probably shouldn't say too much about that, but we're just talking about some stuff. That's all.
Now, the beyond the obvious, the reason I've never made it on TV, I'm really boring when I do a paranormal investigation. So in other words, unless I get some really great evidence, any B-roll of me investigating is like really, really dull. I had some people want to film me once and they said, "Oh, we want to see what you do." And I'm like, I don't really do anything. I don't talk. I don't speak during the investigation other than to bark orders if I'm with a team. Then, but I don't. I complimented Beth Darlington when she does one of her podcasts, and she'll walk to a haunted location and beautifully describe everything around her, and everything. And I'm just like, I'm oblivious when I go into a building. I'm there single-minded to catch evidence or data or however you want to.
That's right. That's right. That's what I do too. Yeah.
But when it gets right down to it, it just, to me, it's almost,
I hear you.
It's so tedious.
That's why I like doing these type of shows. All I can do is sit in a chair and get interviewed, Wes. That's it. That's it. I sit in a chair, they interview me, I give them some footage from my stuff I did, and that's it, man. Well, see, I'm like you. I go in to investigate. I'm not there to give a tour and show my face. I'm behind that camera all the time.
There you go.
They asked me for B-roll this year, and I'm like, I don't have any. I had to dig some stuff, and it's like, there's me setting up a camera. All right, because the other camera's catching me on it, so it was it's kind of, that kind of stuff.
Now,
I don't know what. I didn't intend to film myself.
Now, a serious question. Now, how long have you been investigating, roughly?
Actively
investigating.
Seriously, with the team since 2009.
Okay.
And I know you regular investigating.
And I know that you said that you're getting more cases because of your stature and exposure, but now
FaceTime, yeah.
Looking back, this is something that I talked about with Stephanie Bingham. Have you noticed are the cases you get today pretty much the cases you got in 2009? There's just more of them, or have you noticed any changes in I hate to say the level of activity, but the temper, if you will. In other words, I'm hearing more and more about in your face hauntings. I'm not talking about demons, but I'm just talking about the activity is more in your face type stuff, more noticeable rather than I think I heard footsteps in the hallway.
No, not really. Personally, no.
Okay.
And there could be a reason for that, and I think that reason is the fact that we have before we'll even talk on the phone to somebody. Well, I will talk to them on the phone, but just quickly and say, hey, I got this 12-page form you need to fill out before I can really start help you, or even before I can come out. All right, and it's the only thing we ever ask for. There's this 12-page form that asks a whole ton of questions, everything from their, where they live and all that, to their religion, to any medications they take, to if they had any mental issues or any mental problems, stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff we cover, and I think because of that, we're still getting very similar type cases. Although I have noticed, and I blame a priest friend of mine for this, I'm getting more really negative cases. A lot more of them, and it's happened in the past 2 years ever since this good priest friend of mine said, Jack, he goes, you can really handle demonic cases. I'm going to pray for you to have some. And yeah, about a year after that, I had my first one, and now I've been seeming to get more and more of them. I'm not even looking for them. They're just coming. It's really weird. That I have noticed. But again, I don't think that has anything to do with TV stuff. Because actually, interestingly enough, most of the people who have contacted me haven't seen the shows.
Well, I mean, that's good. But now I got to wrap my head around a priest praying that you get demonic cases.
Me too. Yeah.
That's
yeah, that's out there, man. No, don't do that. Please don't do that. No, you can do it. You can handle it. No, don't do that. He did anyway. So, but we are helping people. I mean, we are getting some of these kind of strange cases, and we are able to help people with them. So, I mean, we bring in other people. It's not just me. We bring in other, like more experts and stuff like that now, that are more versed in those types of cases and stuff. So we've got a good field of people to fall back on, even beyond our team. I mean, I've got Michelle Durocher, who's from also on Haunted Case Files, and she's an excellent psychic medium, and she's dealt with negative cases her whole career, and she's been doing it for 20 years. So, she's a heck of a person to fall back on for advice and assistance. And we're really good friends. She's up in Toronto, up in Canada, actually near Niagara Falls is where she lives. So it's cool that we've got these type of people, and I've met them through the show, some of them. So it's pretty cool.
Everybody, we need to take our second commercial break of the hour. When we come back, we will go on Twitter. If you want to go ahead and load the app, we're going to go on Twitter, and we will give away a 3-day pass to Scarefest 2019. Scarefest XII, Scarefest 12. We'll be right back. Everyone is talking about CBD oil. Most of us know that CBD is a cannabis compound that has significant medical benefits, but does not make people high. Its benefits include pain relief, anti-seizure properties, anxiety relief, fights cancer, reduces the risk of diabetes, and it is even used as a sleep aid. Blue Leaf Naturals CBD and hemp products are full-spectrum hemp extract oils. They use only hemp grown in Kentucky, supporting Kentucky farmers and businesses and helping you and your family stay healthy and well. Blue Leaf Naturals, created with care from seed to shelf. Visit their website at blueleafnaturals.com. Blue Leaf Naturals, a Kentucky proud company. And welcome back to Scarefest Radio. Okay, on Twitter, tag at the Scarefest. At the Scarefest, that is the official Scarefest account. Carly is a booth babe. Carly is a booth babe. That will be the hashtag. Well, it's not a hashtag. You don't have to hashtag it. The first person that tags at the Scarefest with Carly as a booth babe will win a 3-day pass, a $55 value, I think it is, plus my undying gratitude. Chad, we're coming over to you.
Jack, I know you're a prolific author. I believe your
Good.
last book was Paranormal Research, Comprehensive Guide to Building a Strong Team.
Yep.
Uh,
That's correct.
you got any tips on how to put together a strong team? Can you kind of walk us through some of your suggestions on that, as for somebody who's out there who might want to start trying to do that on their own?
Can I go grab the book?
You didn't study for
No,
this test?
yeah. Yeah, I can give some advice to that. I mean, part of building it. I mean, the reason I was able to give maybe some better advice than some people on that is in the Department of the Army. I work for the Department of the Army. I work in engineering. I'm a senior engineering technician there, and I have had to build my own teams to work together on different weapon system production things. So you've got to put teams together. You got to put people together, and you got to make sure they can work together, even sometimes when they can't. So some of that advice is when you're a team leader and you're putting together a team like that, look to people's strengths, right? I mean, look to people. Don't let, you can let people try to do something they think they want to do, but look to their strengths. What are they good at? Who's good with the tech stuff, right? Who's good with just talking to people, especially if you're going to work with clients and stuff like that? Who's good at being the person to make sure everything is organized? And here's something too. Just because you're a team leader or you're the team founder doesn't mean you should be the team leader on the investigation. Okay? And by that, what do I mean by that? That means just because you're the team founder doesn't mean you're the best person at organizing everybody to work together. Somebody else might be better at that. Don't let your ego step in the way. Let that person who has those abilities do that job. And I say this because this is what happened with me with Spirits of New England. I was the last man to be brought on the team back in 2009, besides the two new investigators we got now over the last year, right? I was just brought onto the team. I was not even around when they founded the team. I ended up being the guy who leads the team on the investigations, organizes them, tell them where they want, where we need to set things up, what to do, stuff like that. But Ellen McNeil and Beck Gann are the team founders. I'd never dispute that. But they let me do that part because I'm good at it, because I know how to organize that. And they're not quite as good with that. So you've got to when you're building a team, set your own ego aside, look to people's strengths, and if you do have problems with two people not getting along, try to sit down with them as your team leader and talk it out. Find out what's bothering each one of those people and see if it can be worked through. Sometimes it can, sometimes it can't, you know. And then that's part of building your team, you know, is sometimes some people don't work out and you got to let them go and you got to find somebody else to replace them that's a better fit. And that's what happened with Spirits of New England. And that's why it's been such a strong team for all these years. It's become a little family, right? So we still, to this day, I mean, we had one member leave because of some personal issues and stuff like that, unfortunately. But we've picked up two other people. So we had 5. We now have 6 because we lost one, picked up 2. But we're still this little, small, close little family that works together. Dysfunctional family, I like to say. But it works because, you know, we found ways to work together and not piss each other off. Pardon my French.
Oh no, that's great, and that's great advice to anybody doing any sort of project together. Do you have any suggestions for people who are coming into this on of where to search out for training and stuff, especially as they're putting together a team for especially new people they're bringing in?
Well, as we know, there's not really any formal training out there per se for paranormal investigators, but I would say, you know, if you're new and you're on your own, you don't have anybody else, go to some of the events if you can. Even our team, we try to hold like 2 free events every year for people to come to who can't afford to go to these paid ones, and just investigate with us and learn a little bit from us. And sometimes they end up bringing a friend, and they're like, well, we want to join your team. I said, you don't need to join my team. You both are interested, right? Yeah, 2 as a team. Start with that. Build your own team. Do it your own way, but learn from others, you know. And I encourage people to do that, you know, because number one, we don't bring just anybody on our team. We keep it small. I don't have a team of 50 people. Okay, we've got 6 people. That's it. And there are other teams out there that sometimes are looking for people, and if I know they are, I will suggest they go talk to them or contact them if they're close by. But you can always, if you got 2 of you, you can always start your own team. So, but yeah, go to the events, go to things like even Scarefest, because there's a bunch of us investigators that go to that. You can talk to us, ask us questions, pick up some good books like Paranormal Research. Oh, selfless plug. Okay. Or there is other good books out there too. And also look into the more metaphysical side of the spiritual side of the paranormal, because, you know, you can't just look at equipment. It's a spiritual realm out there, right? I mean, we're talking to souls, right? Souls of people, you know, so you've got to consider that. So there's a lot of good books out there on spiritual protection and things like that. One of the first books I ever read was by Michelle Bellinger, was Ghost Hunter's Survival Guide. And that was a great book to start with. A little bit slow read at the beginning, but a lot of great information. I even still use it as a field guide for some things to this day. So there's a lot of good books out there. Find some real good books like Michelle's or mine or whoever's. There's a ton of them out there. We can give a listing of stuff if anybody wants it. So, you know, go there. Yeah, go check those places out.
Kind of going back to the beginning of that, you were talking about your initial involvement in spirits. What brought you to the paranormal in the first place, and what made you decide to start to get involved in that?
Well, my origin story goes back to when I was a kid. I had a lot of experiences growing up. I actually can't say too much about it all right now because we're going to film something, but I can tell you what I've always said. Which was, I always had somebody in my house that would call my name. It would sound like my mother, but it wasn't. All right. And I never knew who that was until many, many years later when I met a good friend of mine, Becca Boyd, and she's a psychic, 6th-generation psychic medium out of New Hampshire. And she was able to tell me it was my grandmother, my mother's mother, who had passed away long before I was ever born, trying to reach out to me and just get my attention sometimes for things. So I had those kind of experiences and some others that will be talked about on that show. And it should be, I think, an interesting thing to see. People like mine's origin stories. Where did we come from? How did it happen? And as time went on, I kind of got away from the paranormal for a specific reason and got into other things. But all these things, hunting, fishing, even, you know, I ran my own videography business for a while, which was big when weddings, you know, everybody's videotaping weddings, stuff like that. And my own computer business and website design business. And it all led up to this, to where I am now. Everything's connected to what I do with the paranormal stuff. All of it. Even my job at work. I work with that type of equipment we use every day with investigating. And I use it for other things. So I know what it's designed for. I know what we really use it for. And it's not, you know, we use it for the paranormal stuff for, but it can work as communication, you know? Yeah. So it's interesting where my life has brought me. You know?
Absolutely. Let's go over to Wes and see what else he's got.
All right.
Well, I'm just going to take issue with everything he just said. No, I'm only have issue with one thing. But first of all, I want to add to your, anytime somebody asks you about how to get into paranormal investigating, and you're right, there's no training.
No.
Read the effing camera manual. Just read the manual that comes with your camera. That was I literally went on an event one night on a ghost hunt, and this guy walks up to me with his $900 camera asking me how to use it. And I'm like, you know, this is so far over my head. I just said, you know, open the aperture all the way up and hope for the best. That's all I can do. You're in the dark, dude.
Yeah. I've had that happen too, Wes. I know exactly what you're talking about.
But
like, well,
now,
what'd you get for?
By the way, no one has won our 3-day pass yet. Everybody, you all will do a ticket chase and drive all over central Kentucky to win a damn ticket. I'm offering to give you one just for opening your Twitter app and typing Carly is a booth babe, and you may even misspell her name. I don't care.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
You know, so somebody win that pass before we get off.
What would that work?
What's that?
So what if she went on and tweeted her own name? Would that work?
Well, I mean, if she wants a free pass,
Yeah.
frick yeah. There's no rules
You want
against
a free
that.
pass to Scarefest? You got to go on to Twitter. And
Let's do
what
our
does she
commercial
do?
break.
Right.
While we're waiting for Carly to open her Twitter app, we'll take our final commercial break. Everybody, we'll be right back. Do you feel lost in life? Do you seem to be stuck in emotions that are not yours? Is your home not the sanctuary it should be? Contact Spirit Mechanics, where they take a team approach to your metaphysical and spiritual problems. Spirit Mechanics specializes in aura cleansing, stone attunement, attachment removal, and house cleansings. Spirit Mechanics tailors their approach to your individual spiritual path and needs. Find them every month at Lexington, Kentucky's Mystical Fair, mysticalfairlex.com, or on Facebook by searching Spirit Mechanics, that's MECHANIX. Spirit Mechanics, for your spiritual health and well-being.
Coyote Chris Sutton.
Shamanism,
spiritual advisement,
paranormal investigations,
inspirational presentations,
bringing light to the darkest places for over 20 years. Go to coyotechris.com to learn more. And welcome back to the final segment of Scarefest Radio for tonight's show with Mr. Jack Kenna. Somebody win this damn ticket. On Twitter, Carly is the booth babe. Now, one thing if I had to take issue, and I'm not really taking issue with you because I think you'll probably agree with me when I explain it this way. But now, when people ask me about books to read, I am afraid to point them anywhere near the direction of the metaphysical and spiritual side of the reading. And the reason is, in other words, I like them to have a little bit of a foundation in the skeptical, in the technical side of the thing because do you agree with me, Jack, that a lot of people jump, and I feel like a hypocrite saying this because I've done it, but a lot of people dive into the metaphysical side of the paranormal because it's freaking easier?
Yeah, I think that's true. I would say that is true because they think it can be easy. Let's put it this way: you think it can be easier. It's not necessarily as easy as you think, because I delve with both sides. You know that, right?
Right.
I mean, and that side of things is not as uncomplicated as people think it really is. It seems like it's easier, right? But like anything else, it's really not. The only reason I point people like to look to the spiritual side of things is for protection. Learn how to protect yourself.
Now, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, that's all. That's where I'm coming from when I talk about that. Yeah, but you also have to be versed in the technical side because you're going to be using that equipment. And yeah, like you said, you can't just buy a $900 camera and go out there and go, oh, how do I use this? You better know what you're doing before you walk out there with it. You better know how that piece of equipment works and what it can and can't do for you, even before you buy it, because you want to know what you're buying, right? Can it even work for what you're trying to do with the paranormal? Especially cameras. Can it film in full spectrum or infrared? And do you even understand what those terms are?
Now that's the next step. Do you even?
Because I heard it on TV. I got to buy that. I don't know what
infrared.
it is.
Infrared is fairly easy once you learn a few of the camera tricks. But now, full spectrum photography and video is actually hard if you're doing it in the dark.
Yes.
Now, at the same time, I wish people would figure out, wait, full spectrum photography, that works with the lights on equally well. But that's me being on my soapbox.
That's absolutely true. People don't think about that.
Now, we haven't talked enough about, I think I might actually have a winner. I had a couple of Twitter hits.
Did you?
Survivor Fanatic. Survivor Fanatic. You were the first one up to, and it's Manda Panda on Facebook, but Carly is a booth babe, and did not spell it the way I would have. So see, spelling, it doesn't matter. So I don't know who Survivor Fanatic you are, but we will.
How did they spell it? Just out of curiosity.
Carlie.
Oh, Carly.
See, that's what I assumed. I was right for once in my life, but it doesn't matter. Survivor Fanatic. Survivor.
Yeah. Survivor Fanatic. Congratulations out there, Survivor Fanatic.
I'll since I know who you are on Facebook now. Anyway, I'll get in touch with you, Survivor Fanatic, and we will get your email address and send you a 3-day pass. Haunted hospitals. We've almost made it through the show. And we barely even touched on haunted hospitals. Heard about the show because I know like everybody that's on it. But of course now don't
I know
know
a
how
couple people on it too.
Don't know if it's if it's worth show on TV or not. I'm going to take this in a different tact. To me, ghost hunting hospitals is like shooting fish in a barrel. I think that hospitals are current hospitals and closed hospitals. I think hospitals are the most haunted places as a rule, with per capita there is. Do you agree with that statement?
Oh, 100%, 100%. And interesting enough, the show may not be what you think it is. What they're doing is they're interviewing people who work at these hospitals and their experiences there, their actual real experiences.
That's actually what I thought it was because
all right.
Some of the best ghost stories.
People think there's people going in and investigating hospitals, and that's not what it's.
Okay, I assumed that it was down those lines one way or the other because if you're just investigating boarded up hospitals, it's been done. But the other thing,
these are active hospitals, real. The reason I know, my sister and my wife, who are both nurses, are on the show telling their experiences that happened to them as nurses.
I've heard some of the best ghost stories from nurses, and I have to say, of any job that I can think of, now I'm not saying this is, but just off the top of my head, I've talked to very few nurses that did not believe in the paranormal. They may not have always, but once they're in that setting, they all end up with their stories.
Yeah. Even I've seen some stuff just visiting in the hospitals. It's kind of strange, And my sisters and my wife had seen stuff all the time. They see people walking down the hallway that, wait a minute, that person died yesterday. Because they were taking care of them, so they know.
I love that. I love that.
So that's what kind of these stories are about, is that type of stuff that's going on, and other things too. It's been a kind of interesting show. I've only been, I'm on that show just as the quote expert, quote unquote. So lack of a better term, so
in other words, you did like me. You finally just said, "Screw it, call me an expert. I don't give a crap." I got tired of explaining it to people.
Yeah, it's a term that the shows use. We don't use it, but a lot of people take offense to it. But you know what? It's a word. What does it mean? It means maybe I know a little bit more than somebody else does. Right? I don't know everything. God knows I don't know everything.
So that's why I like the word authority.
I like the word accomplished.
Accomplished is good. I figure with authority, that just means I might know more than the next guy. But it still doesn't mean that I actually know anything. You can read a couple books and be an authority on something.
Shows use the word expert because that sounds great to them.
Right.
Whatever.
So what's the Paracon you're at or what event are you at this weekend?
I am at it's actually a metaphysical event.
I got nothing against metaphysical. See, I knew I sounded like a hypocrite.
I'm just busted your chops.
I knew when I said that.
The Mind, Body, and Spirit Expo, and it's in Burlington, Vermont. At the where am I at? the Hilton Burlington in Burlington, Vermont. So that's it's a Saturday only event. I believe it's from 9 to 5. So I'll be over there tomorrow morning by 8, setting up and getting ready, and I'll be giving a lecture on. Actually, for this one, what I've decided to do is I'm doing a lecture on or talk really on psychic abilities and their importance to paranormal investigating, which I do think there is some importance to them with paranormal investigating. So,
if done correctly, put that asterisk out there for me. Put that big ass asterisk.
Yeah, big ass asterisk. Yeah. Well, Wes, I can't say much. I have, I have some things go on myself. So,
all right. Well, that's what everything I say sounds like I'm being this huge hypocrite because we've talked about it. I embrace the term psychic. I don't embrace the term medium because I'm fairly oblivious. But there are things that I can pull out of my rectum every now and then that are applicable. But I'm just saying out there, people. Don't take.
You're I know where you're coming from, my friend. I know where you're coming from.
Well, everybody.
So, talk on that, and then if you want to check out any of the events I got coming up, I got a ton this year.
Well, that's where we wanted to go next.
Yep. Just go on to either jackkenna.org, and you can see all my events there, or spiritsofnewengland.org, and all the events are listed there for everything we're doing with Spirits of New England as well. But jackkenna.org, go on there. You can find out everything I'm doing, all the latest stuff, all the latest shows, and all the latest events and when they are. So we've got a ton of events this year going on, so I don't want to try to create a list for you. But this weekend is Mind, Body, and Spirit Expo in Burlington, Vermont.
So there, everybody, if you're in the Vermont area, I just planned your weekend for you. But go to jackkenna.org or spiritsofnewengland. That was a .org also, wasn't it? Yep. Okay. So there, you can find out more if you want to hear more from Jack. He's a very interesting guy. But if you can catch him at one of the after parties of one of these events, I'm telling you, the first time we actually got to talk in depth, I don't even think we weren't even talking ghosts. I think we were talking UFOs, Jack.
Yeah, we were. Yeah,
I think
I do remember that much.
We were deciding whether or not faster than light travel was possible, and we got into wormholes and all this stuff. And so that's what you can get at an after party with Mr. Jack Kenna. Everybody, this has been Scarefest Radio. I want to thank Jack for being with us tonight. We've had a lot of fun. I want to thank my co-host, Mr. Chad Harlan, for coming on with me on accidentally short notice. I knew he was co-hosting. He didn't.
Thanks for having me.
So everybody, we'll be back next week, and next week will be a double feature, 2 hours of Scarefest Radio, and Scarefest Radio Body and Spirit. Thanks for watching.